Imagine you're single, living alone, but you're paying the utility bill for the family of 4 next door. This happened to a New Jersey man. John Regina says for 24 years, he had been paying 400% more on his utility bill than the power he was using. Total cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $32,000. Now, he had repeatedly talked to JCP&L, the power company that provides to his area in Bedminister, but to no avail. Actually, recently, he talked to the president of the company. Here's what he told me on the radio this morning.
The JCP&L president called me yesterday, finally, polite, but said he'd have to think it over. But from the tone, nothing is going to happen. But JCP&L is hiding behind this law that said, at a minimum, they only have to go back 6 years.
Now, John said that JCP&L did step up and say, look, we're going to credit you more than $6,000 for the past 6 years. Why 6 years? Because the law in New Jersey says power companies, utility companies only have to keep records for 6 years. So $6 grand, that's it. Now, he has talked to a lawyer. We'll see what happens next. But let's bring in the A-plus panel to break this down. Republican strategist Jeanette Hoffman back with us, and Democratic strategist Bill Caruso. Bill, I'm going to start with you as a lawyer. It seems to me that JCP&L, just the optics alone are bad enough, but you're talking about $32,000. Why not make the guy whole? They basically admitted they had done wrong by giving him the credit in the first place.
I just feel so bad for this man. And you know, you don't need to be a lawyer. This is common sense. If you're in this industry, by the way, a very heavily regulated industry, right. This just seems like the bad call. It's the bureaucratic call you see all the time. I'm happy to hear he has a lawyer, but I'm happy to hear that we're covering this because I think this guy needs to amplify his
I don't know if
he's
hired a lawyer yet, but I know he talked to one.
Yeah.
But Jeanette, I mean, he turned the air conditioner off in the summer thinking it was his fault because they came out, they said, they actually at one point told him, you need to check the meter.
This is unbelievable. This man did everything right. He tried to conserve energy. He reached out.
And this is not the first time JCP&L has been in trouble. They got in a lot of hot water during the last storm.
Listen, JCP&L had a disaster during Sandy, but cleaned up their act and we're doing good work to kind of get back in the good graces. Right. I'm not going to be surprised, by the way, if we don't see action out of the Board of Public Utilities and potentially legislation. If this truly is an issue where they're only required to keep data for 6 years, I wouldn't be surprised we don't see bills passed in.
And this is a problem with monopolies, Bill. I mean, how many choices did he have to get his electricity from? I mean, it's the only game in town, so it's really unfortunate.
At what point is the burden on the little guy? I mean, you've got this enormous multi-million-dollar, if not billion-dollar enterprise, and they put the burden on him to read the meter.
But that
doesn't seem fair.
Isn't that how life is all the time, though? I mean, this man, as you said, Jeanette, did everything right. I mean, you almost start to think, you're crazy, right? Like, what am I doing? But he was right. He was right, and they just thumbed their nose at him and said, don't worry about it.
And listen, if he owed money for 26 years, you better believe they would have come after him.
Absolutely.
So.
We reached out to JCP&L, and they gave us a statement. This is from their spokesman. JCP&L does not comment about individual accounts. It would violate confidentiality agreements and/or regulations. There'll be more to come on this story for sure.